Hausa cocoa is one of the easiest food to make, especially in the northern part of Nigeria and some other parts of the country. It's just like a spiced up millet pap with a lighter consistency. This cocoa can go best with kose or akara balls, with bread, with peanut or groundnut or any other stuff that you would like to take it with, or you may also wish to just take it like that with a gulaji inside. So the processes that are involved in this is almost half of the process involved in making ZOMKOM or the millet drink. If you have watched that video, you understand what I'm saying. So today, let's make Hausa cocoa. So to make the Hausa cocoa, just the same way we made the ZOMKOM or the millet drink, just make sure that you pick, wash and soak the millet for up to 12 to 24 hours. After this time, the next thing to do is to rinse or wash the millet again and transfer into your blender, and you add some traditional spices before blending the millet. Some of the spices that you need for this recipe are just the same with that of the ZOMKOM or the millet drink. So you need your cayenne pepper, like 3 of this cayenne pepper, because this recipe we are making just 1 cup of the millet, so you need like 3 of the dried cayenne pepper. And to that also you add 2 seeds of selim, half teaspoons each of black peppercorns and cloves. Now at this point I was supposed to add my fresh ginger, but I forgot, although I added it later. So I remember that I have not added this fresh ginger after I was done blending this whole stuff, like so I went ahead and rinsed my blender, then poured the water, because you need enough water, to make sure that you strain this particular millet that you have blended, to remove all the starch and everything, all the juice and everything that I need. So this was the point that I remember that, oh, I have not added my ginger, so I had to get my ginger. Then I wanted to blend this, but the power supply went off, so I had to use my local blender or my hand grinder to just grind it, then added some water to it, then pour it back into the chaff from which I have extracted enough of the starch or the juice or the milk from the millet. Then I squeezed the juice out of it or the milk from it, then added extra water and squeeze again, because I want to make sure that I extract almost all the juice, all the milk, every of the liquid from this millet that I blended. So once I was done doing that, I added all this back into the main the first one that I squeezed out. So you can see how dry this is. I have taken off all the thing in it. Next, I had to strain this whole mixture again, because I want to have a very perfect milk that will not have any of the remnants of the chaff in it. Make sure that while straining this, you add enough water so that you can take out every of the milk that is in this. So once I was done straining this, I then covered it and set it aside in an undisturbed place for up to 12 to 24 hours. So after this time, then you discover that the starchy part of this millet will settle at the bottom of the bowl. Then the liquid or the watery part will be at the top. That is, you have the sediment and the filtrate. So the next thing you have to do now is to decant. As you can see, the separation in this place. So the next thing you have to do now is to decant the liquid part of this solution. So you gradually take off or decant the watery part, and then you'll be left with the lighter consistency and the thick part of the millet puree or millet slurry. So now the next thing to do is you take out the thicker part of this millet slurry, just place that in a bowl and then use the lighter part of the millet slurry to mix this thicker part, okay, just the way you make pap. Okay, so once you are done doing that, you will set this aside. Then let me also show you how to make the gulaji that you can use as dumplings in the cocoa. To make the gulaji, you can mix the thicker part of the millet slurry with some all-purpose flour and sugar to form a soft dough. Or you can still make it just the way I made mine, just about 3 eating spoons of the millet powder with 2 spoons of the all-purpose flour and then 1 spoon of sugar. Go ahead and use the lighter part of the millet slurry to mix this as in to form the soft dough. So if the dough is too sticky, you can add a little bit of all-purpose flour to form this soft dough that you can mold. Once the dough is ready, place the millet water that you decanted earlier, place it in the pot and let it start boiling. So once it starts boiling, you start molding in the soft gulaji dough that you just made. So you mold it into the water and then stir a bit, cover it and let it start cooking. So once you see it settle at the top of the water, that means it is cooked. This can take about 20 to 25 minutes and it's ready. So you're going to then take it out from the water and then set aside. Now once you are done taking this out from the water, you may choose to reduce the water if the cocoa you want to make is not that much, but if it is much, you can leave the water that way and then continue making the cocoa. Since my millet slurry is not that much, so I reduced the water. So while my water is still on low heat, I started adding the thicker part of the millet slurry that I mixed earlier into the water and made sure that I kept on stirring it continuously. So you don't need to wait to stop stirring it so that it doesn't form lumps. And as you keep on stirring, once it starts thickening, you start adding the lighter part of the millet slurry. So as you keep on adding, you keep on stirring and you will see it thicken just as you see in the video. And once that is done, you start adding the water that you have decanted, that you used to boil the gulaji. If you remember, the water that you removed after boiling the gulaji, you start adding the water into the cocoa that you are making. Okay, once you are done adding that, you're going to have the consistency of your cocoa this way. But if you feel that the consistency is kind of thick, you can add extra water into it to lighten it. Okay, so once it is light and just this perfect consistency, your cocoa is ready, like super ready. Now there are a lot of ways you can enjoy your cocoa, but this is how I enjoy mine. Just to this your cocoa, you're going to be adding some sugar, some milk powder and the gulaji. Now the milk powder here, you can choose to add liquid milk or evaporated milk, or you may choose to dilute this milk powder with a little bit of water before adding it. But I like mine this way because I like to see some lumps of this milk powder in the cocoa. So whichever way you want to enjoy your cocoa is best for you. Just go ahead, make this your cocoa and enjoy. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe and share. Also, if you have not tried my millet milk or millet drink, the ZOMKOM, please check out the video, try it out, and I know you'll be amazed with the outcome. Please, I would like to see you guys in my next video. Anyways, let me go and keep on enjoying my cocoa. Bye bye and see you later.